2021, and we still must have our people for us. While we wait in vain to see somebody that will do a proper job without a stain in their character, do a proper job for us and fight for us fearlessly and honestly. So that's I echo the words of the other speakers, and I stand with them. Thank you very much.
Miigwech Edmund, I have to say I'm proud of having a very person of that character in my caucus, and that's who's going to be speaking next, and that's Sol Mamakwa, our critic for Indigenous Affairs and Treaty Relations. So Sol, please go ahead.
Miigwech kakanagai hagatiek. Wetu kismansiobang doji. Thank you very much for those words, Garnet, Darlene, and Edmund. Thank you, Andrea, for being here with us. As you know, I did go to residential school, and today I'm here speaking to you along with other survivors, Garnet Anchiganep, Ed Matado-Aben, and Darlene Laforme, over an injustice many of us can no longer bear. This concerns the presence of Minister of Indigenous Affairs, Darlene referred as Indian agent. We do not understand how a person can hold this position, considering, that he was formerly employed by a law firm that stands accused of a lot of questions with survivors. And we know that the Minister of Indigenous Affairs was a character witness and for Keshen in those hearings. And how can someone who was a character witness for Keshen with the serious allegations against him be anywhere near the ministry charged with dealing with Indian residential schools in Ontario survivors? I want to be clear. There is absolutely no trust. There is no trust here. Every time we hear Mr. Rickford talk about residential schools, the search for our missing children, or the crimes of the past, we are re-traumatized. Today, it's time for this government. It's time for Ontario to wipe the slate clean out of respect for thousands of residential school survivors in Ontario. He must go. Miigwech.
Let's go.
Miigwech, Sol. So I think that it's pretty clear what we've heard today. How can the current Minister of Indian Affairs, or of Indigenous Affairs rather, remain in that role while the very folks who he is supposed to be, working with to deal with the residential school searches and all of the work that needs to be done, when his very presence re-traumatizes folks, when there's complete lack of trust in that minister because of his previous actions. It's just untenable. It shouldn't be that way. and we're here to tell Doug Ford that he needs to take Mr. Rickford out of that portfolio. That's the very minimal that these people here and all of the other survivors and the families of those children who didn't come home, the ones who we are looking for, that's the very least that they deserve. And so I want to thank you all again for being here this morning. I'm going to turn it over to the media who are on the line to see if there's any questions that folks might have. And which thank you for your courage and for going through yet again an explanation that is so hard and difficult for all of you and brings back a lot of pain and anguish. I really appreciate it.
As a note to journalists joining us on Zoom, if you do have a question, please use the raise hand function to let us know. You can also feel free to type us a message in the chat box. First question comes from Jeff Gray from the Globe and Mail.
Morning, Jeff.
I don't think we can hear you, Jeff. You might need to unmute. We're still having a bit of trouble hearing from you, Jeff. I think we'll circle back in a second. Next question comes from Holly Mackenzie Sutter from the Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for talking and taking our questions today. I just wanted to ask you as well about kind of the process with this funding disbursement for the residential school searches so far, because I know Six Nations brought up some issues last week just about concerns over how it's being distributed and not enough money going to actually do the work. And I wanted to hear from you about your take on how the money's been distributed in the process so far.
Holly, I don't know if you want me to respond.